When I came to Macau about 3 years ago, I did a couple of videos on this channel. One was exploring the Portuguese colonial legacy of Macau, and the other one was heading up to the border of mainland China with Zhuhai. Now I'm back here again, 3 years later, and I thought it'd be really interesting to look at the other side of Macau, which I didn't see before, and yet which is probably its most iconic, and that's the casinos. Now, I've never been to a casino in my life. I've zero interest in gambling, but I thought this is something interesting to explore, not for the gambling per se, but for the story behind the casinos here in Macau. And that story is tied in very closely to the Triads, to Chinese organized crime, which pretty much in the 1990s, in the kind of later days of Portuguese colonial era, pretty much ran the show here. And so if you've been watching my main channel, Monkey Steals Peach, you'll know that I've talked about the Triads quite a lot, specifically in their relationship to Southern Chinese martial arts. But, you know, just for a kind of brief rundown, they originally started in southern China, in Fujian and Guangdong provinces, in sort of the 18th, 19th century, and they were originally these like secret societies that were trying to overthrow the Qing dynasty. When China then became a republic in 1911, a lot of these secret societies, and perhaps even earlier than that, kind of stopped being these anti-Qing secret societies, and they made the transition into organized crime. And in the early 20th century, many of them came to Hong Kong and also to here in Macau, where they began to kind of run the underworld. The most prominent of the Triads was 14K, one of the largest triad networks in the Chinese-speaking world, known in Macau for its influence around VIP gambling rooms, debt collection, and informal enforcement. One of its most visible figures was Wan Kwok Koi, better known as Broken Tooth, whose rise in the mid-1990s coincided with a period of intense competition and public violence linked to the casino sector.
He was the head of the 14K gang, a powerful group of triads based in Macau, and his reputation became one of a man to be feared in his use of extreme violence.
Competition between these groups sometimes turned violent, including a wave of high-profile car bombings in the mid-late to 1990s.
Second blast rocks the area, sending journalists and policemen to the ground, injured.
So I want to just interrupt this video briefly to talk to you guys about a product that I use quite a lot myself. Now, I think you know me well enough by now to know that I would not endorse just anything. If I'm going to promote something, it's only going to be something that I truly believe in and something that I genuinely do use myself. Some of you may know that I also work as a journalist and geopolitical analyst. And having this line of work has made me acutely aware of the biases that are present in a lot of mainstream media reporting on world events. And as such, it becomes harder to know what's really going on and to separate reality from the narratives that are being spun. And so one of the products that I use to get around that is something called Ground News. Ground News is an app and website that combines news from around the world in one place so you can compare coverage. For every news source, you can see if they have a political bias, how reliable their reporting is, and who owns them. You can verify your information and know where the news is coming from. With Ground News, you can see what the media is exaggerating, sensationalizing, over or under reporting. You can see who funds each publication, compare coverage, and think critically about the information you consume. Go to check.ground.news/monkeystealspeach to check it out now. If you subscribe for my link, you get 40% off the Vantage subscription. Alright, so we are going to go into Casino Lisboa, the original OG of Macau casinos. I have no idea what to expect. As I say, I've never been in a casino in my life. I don't know if I'm allowed to video in there, I don't know anything. So we're just going to walk in and see what happens. I'll film until I get told off for it. Oh, no. Well, I should have expected, but you weren't allowed to film or take any photographs inside the casino at all. And you know what? I didn't end up gambling at all. It actually was an incredibly depressing place. I thought it'd be kind of classy and exciting, but honestly speaking, the inside of it felt straight out of the 1970s, and every single person in there just looked miserable and depressed, and they were just sat there, you know, putting their chips on, losing money, putting more, losing more, and it's probably the most depressing experience of my life, and it definitely made me realize that gambling is honestly quite crap. And the strange irony I've found is that when you look at all these casinos from the outside, they look all very shiny and glitzy and bling bling, but you go inside and it just feels old and kind of depressing. And it kind of makes you think, you know, all of this glitz and everything, this is not you, the person who's going in to gamble. You know, this is not a representation of the wealth that you will make. This is the money that the guys that own the casinos are making. Like, you're pretty much just going to lose. And you might win a little bit, but let's face it, watching the people in there, anyone who did win something just lost it straight away because they didn't know when to stop. I don't think I saw a single person actually cashing anything in there at all. And right outside, opposite the casino, is all the pawn shops, where if you get completely desperate, you can go into any of these and just basically sell all your family's heirlooms and jewelry and pretty much anything just to keep gambling.
Holy crap. Wondering if we walk to the end, maybe we can see lion.
Okay.
We don't have to go inside.
And so, visiting 3 different casinos here in Macau. We went to Casino Lisboa, the kind of original OG one, went to MGM, one of the other big ones, and Wynn Casino. All very similar inside. Lots and lots of mainland Chinese just throwing away huge amounts of money with incredibly stressed looks on their face. Overall, not a positive environment, not what I was expecting, and you know, I like to try new and different things and experience different things in life, but I realized that gambling most definitely is something I have absolutely zero interest in. You know, just putting that amount of money up to luck and then just hoping that the next time you're going to get lucky, until before you know it, all your chips have gone. One thing I'll say though is it was quite interesting as well to look at this economy that's completely built upon just getting you to just give your money up for absolutely nothing in return. I mean, the casinos are pretty impressive buildings. You know, they've got all these luxury goods, you know, shops selling luxury goods in the lobby. They've got all sorts of sponsorships from Gucci and Rolex and all these big brands. There's, you know, they offer also, you know, they let you in the casino for free. They offer all sorts of free entertainment, free shuttle buses to the mainland Chinese border, free shuttles to the airport, the ferry terminal, all of that just to get you in on the hope that you're going to gamble all your money away. And if that's not enough, there's just entire streets of pawn shops opposite the casinos. So then you can just give up all your valuables to give the casino even more money.